Welcome, everybody, to the American Space Museum. I'm Mark Marquette. So glad you joined us for another week of Stay Curious. Got beside me board member and space memorabilia analyst, Mr. Chuck Jeffrey. Hey,
Good to
Chuck.
see you again.
Good to see you. This is my most relaxed time of the day, and you can well appreciate that as one of my bosses on the board there. But Chuck, we've got an auction May 3rd. It's the 37th auction that you've done for our museum. And you better believe me, folks, those auctions have kept our doors open thanks to this man's hard efforts there. And Chuck, how are you?
I'm doing great. Some people drink, some people smoke. I do auctions,
I'm
man.
going to be doing both of them here after today, I'll tell you that. But sorry for the problems with the internet. Glad that you could join Chuck live. If you've got a question for him, please shout it out there and we'll get to you. Marty, you may have to do it as I'm fumbling around here with everything. Internet was down, and but it's good. We're full of people. The museum has never had a better spring, or I mean, a first quarter than I think we've ever had. I think the numbers show that, and here we are poised to do a fabulous, fabulous auction.
Yeah, it's what keeps us going. And sometimes, Mark, sometimes you get lucky.
Yeah.
And we are privileged, and I do mean privileged, to sell the estate of Robert Heine. Okay?
Okay.
Robert Heine was the head of timing and sequencing for Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo.
Hmm.
This guy not only laid out the sequence of events for a launch of a spacecraft, he developed all the electronic circuitry to make it happen.
Wow.
So we have just amazing artifacts, including circuit boards, relays, flown modules, just an amazing assortment of stuff, and some great artifacts from John Glenn from his MA6 flight.
Oh, really? Okay.
Really?
I see you've got the flight manual in front of you here. I also saw Bob Seek still got some treasures in there. And of course, an astronaut who's helped our museum more than any other, I can say unequivocally, Mr. Fred Hayes.
Well, Fred's a huge supporter. We have stuff of his in every single auction. And Fred's the kind of guy, man, you're like, Fred, I don't want to ask, would you sign? Send it. He don't
Hmm.
care. Yeah, I'll send it. And he supports us wholeheartedly. We also raise money for the Infinity Science Center to help honor Fred.
Absolutely. And I've been to the Infinity Science Center a couple times. It is awesome. They've got his Apollo 13 work suit, space suits that he used in training. And it
Yeah.
is beat up from playing around in the rock field and stuff like
That
that.
man trained for a lot of missions,
Yeah,
man. He didn't just train for Apollo 13.
he sure
People don't
did.
realize he was backup lunar module pilot for Apollo 11.
Yeah, uh-huh.
So had Buzz had problems, it wouldn't have been Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin. It would have been Neil Armstrong and Fred Hayes.
There you go. And also very important man in the approach and landing tests of the shuttle later on. And so just Fred Hayes, we love you and he does good things all over the place. What is he? 88? Charlie Mars, I know our godfather's 89.
Yeah,
So
no, they're getting up there, and but Fred's still very active. He let us sell him on our last auction. We did a 30-minute Zoom with Fred, and we did a 30-minute Zoom with Charlie Duke, and they helped bring in some much needed funds.
that's right. They're going to do one over the Easter Sunday that I'm going to help you execute that on there. Well, we got everybody piling in here. Good to Steve Jokums, Bob Mahan is down in Miami, Doug Forrest in LA, Dave Stengy's up in Michigan, Elena is in South Africa. She watches us all the time, and Dean Babcock up in Illinois. So let's kick this off because you got some questions maybe about auctions, maybe about something that you own. Chuck, I didn't put I didn't put the slide up there with your name and business up there, but you can
Well, if you get your head out of the way of the
yeah,
auctions, there you go. Bid again auctions. That's good enough.
yeah. Bid Again Auctions, and you can send stuff to him. and see if that you have a real Neil Armstrong autograph. We'll check it out here. But let's first say that we got Shuttle Fest coming up, only about 40 slots left. You know, the second person I saw today when I came in the office was that Don Thomas there with a box of his books in his hand. And Matthew let him in and said, you know, I said, Don, I wasn't expecting you. And he's got another couple cases of books that he'll autograph for you and sell them at Shuttlefest. And you gotten to know Don pretty well through your auctions.
Yeah, Don is a very avid space collector. He loves the programs, and he collects the stuff from before his time in orbit.
Yeah.
So he likes the Mercury, the Gemini, the Apollo, all the shuttle stuff he got when he was flying. So, but he loves the stuff, and he supports every single one of our auctions.
Well, as our board of director member and so influential in our board, what do you think about our lineup for Shuttlefest?
I think it's a great lineup. I think you have the literal superstar of astronauts. You got Eileen Collins.
Yeah.
And that woman is just the first female shuttle commander, one of the nicest people I've ever met. She's awesome, and I am sorry I will be on vacation. I won't see it. Ah!
Yeah. Yep. Well, you'll get a chance to relive it online, as we're gonna maybe monetize it online. If we don't do it live, we'll definitely share it. But yeah, I hate that you're not going to be there because you definitely helped us along the way in structuring these things, and finally, it is a serious fundraiser for the museum. John Grunsfeld, over your shoulder there, last human being to touch the shuttle. I mean, the Hubble telescope. 3 times he was on repair missions. Joe Tanner, they call him Joe T. He can't wait to come, and Don can't wait to see Eileen because they were hairballs together in ass cans, and he said, I haven't seen her in 5 years, and we were really close in our training, and that's what I like about Shuttlefest.
I'll tell you another thing. I had dinner with Woody Spring 2 nights ago. We were talking about Shuttlefest, and what do you think he asked? He's like, why didn't you invite me?
Uh-oh.
I'm like, well, you're officially invited. He's like, well, I got something on the schedule for that day now, but if you would have let me know. So I've already put him on for next year. I told him, man, you will get an official invitation.
Good,
but we
good.
got Woody coming next year.
Well, we built it, and we love it that they want to come. We actually built it for the space shuttle workers and the space lovers out there. And I knew it would attract the astronauts. Why not? It's in paradise here in the middle of Florida in the middle of the month. So, but look forward to great things. If you've not gotten your ticket, you better get it now. And I'll release the whole agenda to everybody here by Wednesday, I promise. So, Chuck, let's talk about your business there. There's your slide that I put for the preview there. That was about when I met you back in the day. You look good in the mustache, by the way.
I looked good when I had no gray.
Yeah, look good when you had no gray. Yeah, exactly. But tell us a little bit about how you got involved in running your own auction business.
Okay, so
there's his homepage there.
I started as a volunteer here about 12 years ago, and about 10 years ago, they put me on the board of directors. And my very first board meeting was not like, hey, Chuck, welcome to the museum. It's like, hey, Chuck, we're closing the museum. We're done. We can't raise enough money. We're bankrupt. And because I'm an avid collector and I buy from every auction, if there's a piece of memorabilia for sale, I'm there to try and buy it. I said, let's do an auction. And we raised, believe it or not, man, we raised $68,000 on our first auction. We took them from bankrupt to stable in one day.
Huh.
And we had huge support from the astronauts, huge support from the local community. We're now on auction 37.
Yes, that first one was right around 2016, probably, right?
Correct. 9 years ago. They put me on the board 10 years ago. It took me about 9 months to put everything together, put the auction together. I'd never done an auction, but I loved it so much that I got my state license in Florida. You have to have a license to do auctions. And I opened an auction company, which is Bid Again Auctions. And, the majority of what I do are charity auctions for the museum.
If you don't know Chuck very well, like I do, and many of you know, if he doesn't know something, he's going to learn it. And you learned the auction. Also, we got to give a shout out to Mr. Schuler, who was very helpful with us there.
Cliff Schuler taught me the business, got me my license. He apprenticed me. He has since passed away, but really had a wonderful impact in my life. And I will never forget Cliff for all of his time and effort he put into me.
I showed up about auction 4 and got involved in them, and then you and I kind of got along good. And what this man has taught me in the 7 years I've been around here is unbelievable. I actually know Kapton foil from Mylar, something that Marty's really fussy about. Hey, Marty, we hadn't said hi to him. He's on our Streamlabs board there, and we had to overcome some peculiar internet things to we thought we'd go early with Chuck, we end up going late, so
Well,
that's the way things
we
are.
had some equipment failure issues, and that's what you get in the world of electronics.
That's right. So Chuck, something you want to say about the direction the museum's taking now?
You know, the museum's going in the right direction. We are building partnerships. We are building relationships. We have a good following of people. The museum is more popular now than it has been since COVID. There's always people in here, and I am very proud to be part of this.
Good. Well, we couldn't do it without Chuck, and we've got a whole new set of board members. You know, as I look back when I first came here, Chuck, our board of directors now has segued. The torch is passed from the Apollo guys that founded this museum, like Charlie Mars and Bob Seek, who's still around, of course, and the late Lee Solid. And they may not have raised a whole lot of money, but their name meant a lot there in the beginning days when they did raise millions to build Spaceview Park. And the museum was kind of an afterthought. And you people that love the museum don't understand that. So now we're really taking hold with the shuttle era coming on. This is what Shuttle Fest is all about. And we've got, you talk about partnerships and relationships. There's our wonderful Stay Curious audience out there. 20 to 30 of them watch every day. And I can name lots of money that each one of them have contributed to our museum. And they're looking forward to doing more. When we focus on what our needs are, they will be there for us. I know it, Chuck. So good. Anything else about the state of the museum or anything? We'll go into the auction.
Well, you know, we're doing some renovations. You got the blockhouse looking really nice.
Yeah. Cape Canaveral Gallery will be finished in a couple days.
We had some issues with water leakage. We had a bad roof. We got a roof put on the building. That's done. But we're still doing repairs from the damage of all those water leaks because it was for years. And little by little, this place is really starting to become a diamond, not in the rough, just a diamond.
Thank you. Gabriel and I are trying real hard to get connected with the right people again and move this museum forward into the 21st century. So let's look at some auction stuff that's going to blow your mind. If you don't know how to get to our auction, go to our website. If you're a Facebooker, I've got it published on there. Go up to the top up there. It says auction, up the button, and then you see this page here. You click the auction bidding site there, the red one, right over there, and it'll take you right to our the auction. There, you were on TV today.
Yep, we have so many rare items that we did local news today. We're doing local news again tomorrow, and we're getting a lot of coverage because we have some possibly one-of-a-kind items in here, just of huge historic significance.
Well, let's look at a few of them. Here is a couple pages that I took pulled off of the website right now. You can bid now, but the gavel falls Saturday, May 3rd at noon. Explain that process, Chuck.
Okay, so the reason, usually I publish our auctions 3 weeks in advance. This one's actually a month and a half in advance. And the reason is, guys, I'm going on vacation, okay? I'll be gone for a month. And I want to be sure that the auction for the museum is done before I go. So it's already online. It's never going to be this early again, but you can go see it now.
So some of the things we see there are some real passes that were at the Apollo 11 viewing pass. You look at pictures of the crowd, you'll see uh, um, Vice President Agnew wearing one of these things. I saw
So
a picture of him.
these badges were for the VIP viewing area, and everybody who was anybody was in the VIP viewing area, and they're all wearing these gray Apollo 11 launch viewing passes.
Uh, Yes, these are representative, Chuck, of a lot of things you have in there. Over 400 lots. The next one is Apollo Lunar Mission Handbooks and Souvenirs from Ed Scully. Okay, a space worker that they combine a lot of stuff in there. Then you got is these from Habitat? Some of these.
No, those are actually from a gentleman called Sandy Clarkson. He's
Oh
the
yeah, I met Sandy.
Right Stuff Space. And Sandy actually knew Richard Underwood. And when Richard Underwood passed away, he bought the collection from the family, which is all the film that flew to the moon. If anybody's a film guy, you know that there's a leader on every roll of film and a tail. The leader lets you load the camera with the film without exposing it, and the tail lets you have something to pull it back into the roll when you're done. So Dick Underwood, he kept all them leaders and all those tails, the ones that flew to the moon, the ones that were on the lunar surface, he kept them all.
Right.
Just part of a huge collection.
And he was over the laboratory. The laboratory Underwood was.
Johnson Space Center Film Labs. He is the man who processed every roll of film that was flown from Mercury through Apollo. Every roll of film that went to the moon was developed by Dick Underwood.
And he was probably shaking like a leaf when he put that film from 11 into the
Maybe
processor.
I wasn't there, but we're gonna think he was a steely-eyed rocket man with hands as steady as a surgeon.
Well, I know Tommy Usiak's watching. He said good afternoon, and he had a film lab, so he knows what I'm talking about. Anything can go wrong in those rollers. These are nice to have, Chuck. They describe what you have. You just don't have the artifact. The one is Fred Hayes signed Apollo fire resistant test material. You estimate $100 to $500 on that. Apollo 12 flown Kapton foil that was on the side of the command module of Apollo 12, which was called Kerplunk Kitty Hawk.
Huh? Oh, Kitty Hawk.
Kitty Hawk.
Intrepid was the command
Yeah,
module.
Kitty Hawk on there. Then at the lower left, one thing that I know Chuck is surprised about, and myself too, is the value of photographs that come out of the NASA labs.
People love photographs. And it is the original photographs that were produced at the time of the missions. People just go crazy for them. They love them.
And they sell quite well depending on the what. You got Apollo 15 color surface photos there. It could go as much as $500 for this set here. Then you got Kapton foil with a COA, of course, Apollo 16 on there.
Skip over to the Bruce McCandless. You talk about photographs. Now we have two photographs of Bruce McCandless. One is on the very sought after red numbered photograph. It's got the NASA logo and the red number from the mission. Tells you the mission, the roll of film, and the frame that film is on, that image. Next to it is also a same image, but on just regular Kodak paper. And these have become just insanely collectible. This is the first time a man flew in space without a spaceship. And so these are bringing hundreds of dollars for one of these photos.
And the red numbers or numbers and letters on there signify what, Chuck?
Well, again, the red numbers tell you the mission, the roll of film, because roll of films are going to be numbered for what roll, because they always have multiple rolls, and then the frame that film with that image was taken from.
Also, what I was getting at there was these were the first of the pictures that came out given to the VIPs, usually the press. VIP
The
managers, so
big
forth
wigs
like that.
internal,
They
yes.
got that was the first batch that went out, so
And
they're
here
even a little more valuable, aren't
and
they?
here is a great image. Look at the red numbered. Look at the detail versus the one on the left. They both came out of NASA. They're both the same picture, but the
Hmm.
red number is a much higher detail. This is one of the best examples of why the red numbers are
Hmm.
so desirable. They're
Printed better. It's just a matter of printing,
their
giving it
first
more
run,
time.
man. The
Yeah,
negative hasn't been through 100 processings. It
and
is a first run.
exactly. So they did them all the best they could. You see the blue of the ocean where it's not in the other one there, but yep. And we're going to have Bruce McCandless II will be signing his book Starbound that he wrote with Emily Carney, Space Hipster #1, and also on our board of
Board of
directors.
directors.
So you'll look forward to seeing them there and buying the book there. Uh, Kapton versus uh, Mylar. But this is Mylar off of the Apollo 11. Well, they call it Kapton.
Yeah, it's Kapton. It's polyamide foil.
Okay.
So this was used as a heat protection for the capsule to keep it from scorching. Even though it's not in the direct heat of reentry, there's still some heat there. So this was just a layer of protection, covered the entire capsule.
Again, a nice display, something you can put in a notebook or show people. It tells the whole story than just owning it. But it's just nice to own it. I mean, you're paying for the Kapton foil, not all the information in the picture there. Well, here's another group that Fred Hayes, a lot of his items on here, everything from the classic picture of the side of the service module to him signing some different charts and checklists
Training checklists.
in there. Also here is Alan Bean's flown spacesuit remnants. What's up with that?
Okay, so this again is from Dick Underwood, and there was a section of his spacesuit after the mission taken for microscopic abrasion analysis.
Mm-hmm.
And when it was done, apparently it went to Dick and he kept it. And there was a very small piece. It wasn't huge. I understand it was about 2 inches by 2 inches or about there. And, Sandy's cut it into smaller pieces and made it available.
Okay. And then Bob Seeks got some coins from STS-1 to 26, solid silver. Wow.
Bob Seeks got some great stuff. That's the glass from his firing room #1, along with one of the Louvre
there.
awards. So
Yeah.
that's actually glass that was put in when the Launch Control Center was built and removed after the Challenger disaster when they redid firing room #1.
Thank you, Marty. Ooh, did you feel that? Yeah, on there. So you guys get it that haven't seen these auctions. And Chuck, though my wallet might be a little bit light at some auctions there, and I'm too old to even own anything really, but I don't have family that would really cherish it like that, pass it on. But I enjoy watching it and learn a lot. You can learn a lot about the value of things and history and so forth watching these things. What this is an historical record of our space program and so much more.
Well, you want to talk historical record, okay? Let me show you this.
Yeah.
Okay, and I know you're going through that
No,
stuff.
no, we
but
got just a couple more
this
slides.
is-
You interrupt all you want.
I don't know if any of you people out there have ever heard of a guy named John Glenn, okay? And he got into this little Coke can they called a Mercury capsule, and they launched him into orbit. And I have seen a lot of documents from Mercury. This is not a spacecraft operator's manual. This is Robert Heine's launch countdown guide for MA6 that he used for all 7 scrubbed attempts. They're all documented on here.
I'm not going to
and
open too much of that, Chuck, because it's so
It's
rare.
all annotated, everything that he did. He was the system sequence and electronics guy.
Wow.
And this is the only one I have ever seen. Period. End of discussion. I don't see them in the Smithsonian. I've never seen one of these anywhere. This is an original MA6 launch countdown manual, and it is, again, complete original. It may be the only one in private hands.
Wow. What lot number is that? You remember?
I believe it's lot 273. I don't remember, but it's right up there
And he's
somewhere.
got 400 lots.
So
be very careful with that.
But it goes with.
Well, what's your estimate on that?
My estimate is 15 to 20,000.
All right.
Okay, and then that goes with this. Da-dum. This is exactly what it says. This is the Spacecraft Operator's Manual for John Glenn's MA6 capsule.
This is what he trained with.
This is what this is Robert Heine's copy, but it is exactly the same that he used. Hang on a second. I'm going to pop out of frame here for a second.
Fuse switch functions that was, okay? Just for example, there's the fuse switch functions page.
There's a complete flight diagram for all the controls in here, all the abort, all of the emergency procedures, what every circuit breaker.
Electrical system.
That's what every circuit breaker in a Mercury capsule does. I mean, this is wonderful.
Oh, we love it when I'm just going to be very gentle with this, but we love it when it folds out. They got the astronaut in there. This looks like the life support system. Environmental system, yep. Right there. Wow.
I mean, just.
That is so cool.
And again, that's expected to bring 7 to 10,000.
Oh, I'm looking here. Capsule, all right. Here's some words of wisdom at the back. Capsule lands in rough seas. 1, remain seated with harness fastened. 2, if forced to leave capsule, use extreme caution.
I bet Gus Grissom remembers that one.
Capsule leaks after landing. 1, if leak large, leave capsule. 2, if leak small, check conditions before deciding to leave capsule. Emergency egress, drogue chute failure. Hit the depress button if drogue chute does not deploy. Emergency drogue chute fuse, drogue button. And
the red border is these are emergency procedures.
Wow. Never have seen that. What a privilege to look at this. And
now, this is great, but they stayed on the ground. This flew. This is a $2 bill carried by John Glenn into orbit. It is listed in his personal items carried.
wow.
It is on a certificate signed by him and his backup pilot, Scott Carpenter. It's also signed on the bill, and the serial number matches the certificate.
There you go. You want to own something that's an heirloom? That brings to mind, this is American history. This is like a Civil War item that's going to be passed down from generations to generations. Because it's
But
very
look at the
expensive.
condition. This looks like it was printed yesterday.
It does.
This was kept in a closet. It's never been out on display. It's not faded. It is as clean and crisp as the day it flew.
And it flew in 1962, February 20th. So that's 63 years ago. So good stuff there, Chuck. And just a couple other items there real quick, and Chuck's got to go. You got space-flown flags. I particularly like the NASA administration flag.
I love that one. It's a real NASA flag in miniature.
Yeah.
But flown.
Conrad Nagel was another NASA or contractor legend.
He's launch team member.
Launch team member, that's
Absolutely.
Right.
So we have, in this auction, we have items from 4 different launch team members, and of course, quite a few items from launch director Bob Seek.
Mm-hmm.
And so Bob's on the board of directors, and he's really a huge supporter of ours.
And he has given all of his money to charity. In most of these auctions, he gave it to the Children of a Challenger Fund on the last auction.
Yep, the Challenger Center. We sold the The crew signed STS 51L photograph that he had signed for him when he was launch director. And he did not, want to profit from it. So we sold it. It went to the Challenger Center to help the families and children of the astronauts.
You all know Bob Seek, the name, and in books and stuff like that, and stories about him. But we know him on a personal level, and he's been a mentor to me, like you. Tell him about Bob Seek.
Well, Bob Seek's one of those guys. He is very soft spoken. So he's never loud, boisterous. He's soft spoken, a treasure trove of information. It's one thing that amazes me about all of these Apollo guys. They have a mind that is a steel trap. They remember details from almost everything. And we have some manuals here, like the AS202 launch countdown manual in here, console used. I mean, these are all from the people who were in the firing room. That was Conrad Nagel's, and Conrad was in the firing room for the very first Saturn, 1B, the very first Saturn V, and unfortunately for the Apollo 1 fire, he was in the Launch Control Center when that happened.
So many cool things have crossed our hands. We could do a whole show about what you've seen, rare items. What are these booties off my shoulder, though? People might be wondering.
Okay, so those are what we call a faux pas. Okay,
There, right there.
Those boots came from Walt Cunningham, and they were sold in our auction. And Walt wrote on them, "These are the prototype boots from Apollo 1." And this is, I say steel trap, but everybody makes mistakes. When we sold them, the gentleman who purchased them found a label inside that we didn't see that said Skylab prototype in-flight coverall boots. And so they weren't from Apollo 1, they were Skylab. We gave them the opportunity to have a refund, and they said no, 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 no. They would rather keep them, but the inscription doesn't actually match what they are. It's a story. I like it. I put it on the front cover of my website.
And I've seen those. They sure look cozy.
They are cozy. I put them on.
No, did you put them on?
I did put them on.
Yeah, they look like something from the Bean catalog, LL Bean catalog that you'd wear
So
on
if
there.
you look at
a
the
deer skin or something like that, and
if you look at the one there on the left, the Apollo 13 signed movie prop checklist. This is from the movie Apollo 13. And we were able to get all the astronauts to sign it. We could not get one of the actors to sign it. We emailed everybody. Nobody would sign it.
wow. Well, here's a great question, right in your wheelhouse, and Marty, take it, Dean Babcock's question there.
Okay. Why would the museum not want to keep and display the Mercury launch manual if it's so rare? I realize it can bring a lot of money, but these items should be presented for all space buffs to see.
And I wish I could, but it's not ours. It is being consigned by the family of the man who owns it. We are auctioning it for sale for the family, and we get a cut of that money to support the museum. I did ask the family to donate it for our Mercury room, and unfortunately they were not in a financial position to do that, which I respect. So we always go by the wishes of the families or the people who own the artifacts.
We also do not sell anything in our collection that we don't.
No, our collection is permanent. It's here.
Yeah.
These are items that belong to a family. I'll give you a good example. Neil Armstrong. This man went to the moon, first man to walk on the moon, and he never sold a single item from his collection while he was alive. When he passed away, his family put everything for sale. It is their items, it is their prerogative, and you have to honor their wishes. So you can say you want it, you would love to see it in a museum, you would love to have whatever, but we do not own it.
Good question, Dean, and that's a positive question that people have. We don't we try to keep two of everything and then sell with the third one we get
Yeah,
extra
so
there.
we try and have, so if our goal is, if this museum were to catch fire and burn to the ground, Lord forbid anything like that should, a catastrophe, that we would have enough artifacts in our off-site storage that we could rebuild the museum, repopulate the museum, and open back up and still have a beautiful museum. So we try to have two of everything.
Now, this is a good thing too that people want to consign things to us because Chuck has made our auction one of the top 5 in the world. There's other auction houses that have been doing this for decades, and that's where Chuck got the idea to do it. Hell, they used to have catalogs, some of them that would come out. That's how I learned stuff. Was remember those? Who did the catalogs that were laying around here?
Superior did most of them. They were the first to do space auctions. But I want to tell everybody who's out there listening, there's a difference between us and the other people who do space auctions. We support a museum. We pay for the education of thousands of children a year. Our STEM programs are free to all children. So, that's what this stuff pays for. It pays to preserve our history. It pays to educate our children, and it pays to keep this place open. So, I'm glad that people consign to us. I want everyone to know we do free appraisals. So whether you keep it, you can sign it, or you want to sell it outright, whatever, we do free appraisals. So if you talk to someone and they're like, oh, I'll give you $20, you're welcome to talk to me, and I will try and give you, an auction value. And an auction is a real value. When you put it up for sale at an auction and it sells, that's what people are willing to pay. And that's what we go by is auction averages.
Chuck has a brick and mortar business. Tell us also where you actually met an astronaut at your business the other day.
So we have opened up Bid Again Auctions into a building in downtown Orlando. We've got some space there. We could not get space here on the Space Coast. We've been just jumping from building to building to building, but we have a space in Orlando now. So Bid Again Auctions actually has a home in downtown Orlando, right on Colonial Drive, right by I-4, very convenient to everybody.
Yep, I've been there, and astronaut Don Thomas stopped by.
My first
Said hi.
astronaut in the building.
Yeah. And he really he was he was awed a little bit by what all you got going on there, Chuck, and how smooth the operation it looked like. Me too. I was very impressed. Of course, I know Chuck, and I know he does stuff the right way. One other slide I wanted to put up just to remind people: autographs, autographs, autographs. You can get an autograph of a bundle of them there in the left-hand corner, or get a crew signed mission.
Well, in this one, and again, we do autographs in every auction, so that's not rare. But in this auction, we have an Apollo 11 insurance cover. They're pretty rare. We have an Apollo 15 insurance cover from Jim Irwin.
Wow.
That's pretty rare. We have a Apollo 13 abort cover, mission abort, signed by all 4. And there's, as I understand it, there's only 20 of them were done at the time. So that's pretty rare. Everything that we sell is pre-certified by Steve Zarelli. Mm-hmm. So you'll see his logo on our website. We've got a relationship with Steve, and he makes sure that everything we're selling is real, above board, and you can buy with confidence from the American Space Museum, from Bid Again Auctions. We're selling you the real stuff, and it is guaranteed as long as we're on the earth.
If you go back 4 years ago, maybe, and we're celebrating our 5th year of Stay Curious this week, born out of the pandemic, Chuck and I had a program where he took on forgeries. And he just tore up a bunch of Buzz Aldrins and some Gene Cernans that were forgeries.
Now, these weren't just forgeries. These were super high quality, unbelievably skilled forgeries. and we turned it over to the state's attorney. We made life a living hell for the forgers. We really did ruin their lives. Yes.
Yes.
Um,
Cheaters.
and when the investigation was done, the state's attorney came to me and they said, Chuck, do you want us to sell these at the government sale? Because everything they have gets sold, all evidence, everything gets sold. Um, or do you want it back? And I said, well, I want it back, but I don't want forgeries out for the people. So we made a show out of it. We showed how good the quality of the forgeries were. And it's the best reason to deal with people who are reputable. Deal with us, deal with Steve Zarelli. Make sure you're buying what you want. I just went and did an appraisal here in Titusville where the man has been buying on eBay maybe $100,000 worth of autographs. He has binders full. And I would guesstimate 60 to 70% of his autographs are fake.
That's tough to tell somebody.
It is tough to tell. It's devastating.
But you experienced that yourself.
In a smaller thing. Yeah, when I first started, I got a hold of a very knowledgeable gentleman, huge supporter. His name's Ken Havicott. Ken is also an expert on autographs.
Oh, we know Ken. He's pretty sponsor for
And
Shuttle
he's
Fest.
a sponsor for everything. He's a great guy. And I'm so proud of my collection. I take it over to his house and I started showing him everything. And he started pointing out all the forgeries. And I had a fake Neil Armstrong. I had a fake Gene Cernan. I had a fake Jack Swikert. I mean, I had fakes. And the question is, what do? You know they're fake. You know you got thousands of dollars into them. I shredded them. I shredded them to make sure that you don't buy them.
Buyer beware and buy from the experts here at the American Space
And
Museum.
I will tell everybody who is watching, when we get a forgery, a confirmed forgery, I will send it back to you with the word forgery written on the back side of it. You can display it, you can show it, but damn it, you're never going to sell it. I've had people threaten me with lawsuits. I said, I'll see you in court.
Yep. And they never show up.
No, because you cannot justify fakes.
No.
You know, you're not going to win in court. We had a gentleman who sent us a STS 51L cover, an envelope. And Krista McCullough was signed. Krista McCullough, the first teacher in space. Well, she wasn't in space. She would have never signed first teacher in space because she hadn't flown. What if it got canceled? And every autograph on the cover was fake, but I wrote fake on the back. I sent it back to him and he was so outraged. He's like, I'm going to sue you. I'm going to destroy the museum. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Bye.
Okay. We got a final question here from Marty Winkle on our UCX family microphone.
Dean Babcock is asking, how much do personalized autographs photos decrease the value of the photo?
Depends on who they're personalized to. So if they're personalized to someone famous, a lot of times it will increase the value. If it is personalized with a first name, Bob, Jeff, Sam, Sarah, then it's a small decrease because there's hundreds of Bob, Sams, Jeffs, and Sarahs. But if it is to Sarah Jean Jahone, then there's only one, maybe two, three in the world. That really cuts down on the value because nobody wants to display a picture on their wall to someone they have no idea who it is. So if you've got a thing that says to, like, Chuck, okay, I have pictures signed to Chuck that I didn't get signed, but I bought them because they got my name on it. And a lot of people are like that. They feel good with it. There's no problem. And that's the effect that personalization has on a photograph or pretty much any item.
Good questions out there. We hope that you participate in the auction. Chuck, once again, explain the procedure here. I go up and I look at these pictures here, and I want to buy
Well, let's go back to the beginning,
Yep.
okay? So you can do, and this is a cheap plug, you can do go to the AmericanSpaceMuseum.org and scroll down, click on auctions and appraisals, or you can go to bidagainauctions.com and you can click on view our auction. These are all items that are in our
Yeah, I was
current
gonna end
auction.
that.
And you have to register for the auction. You can view everything without registering, but you cannot bid if you do not register. So then we'll approve you to bid, and you can go ahead. If you have an item, let's say you want the flown $2 bill, and you're like, oh, it's worth $10,000. I'll bid $10,000. Well, right now it's at, I think, 500. It's going to stay at 500 until someone bids 600. Then your bid will go to 700. When someone bids 800, your bid will go to 900. Your bid will not go up until someone bids against you, and it does not matter what your high bid. You could bid $1 million. It's not going to go to $1 million unless someone bids $999,900 against you.
So bid now. You can go see this. You see something you like, put what you think you'd give for it, $400 or $500, even though it's at the $100 entry level. We've gotten strong over the years. Chuck starts his bids out at $100. There's certainly $100 value in every one of these lots there, and the value of this lot though is almost astronomical.
Well, this is
Look
the
at what we
mother
got
lode.
there, folks.
So at the top, you can see the Apollo 11 insurance cover. This is reportedly from Buzz Aldrin, although I do not have the paperwork for it. It is confirmed as an insurance cover signed pre-flight in crew quarters.
Insurance cover to the
Okay.
novice.
So when the astronauts were flying, insurance, life insurance, was very difficult to get. They had insurance, but it was very low value. So to bolster the safety for their families, they would sign a couple of hundred of these covers and divide it up between the wives that would keep it while they went to the moon. If they would have died, then the families could sell these off over time because you know they're going to be valuable. Everybody's going to want something from the Apollo 11 disaster. But it didn't happen. They all made it home safe. The closest thing we came to losing a crew in Apollo was Apollo 13.
And that's in the middle.
So that's in the middle, and this is what's
15's
known.
on the left. You got 17 on
Well,
the bottom.
the 13 is a mission abort cover. So it's signed, it's postmark on the date of the explosion, and it is signed by all 4 crew members, including Ken Mattingly and Jack Swikert, because, you know, it looks, I believe the original crew signed it and then Jack signed it later. But there were only 20 of these covers made, or
Only
so
20? Wow.
as I've been told, only 20. This will be the second one I have seen in my lifetime, so very rare. The Apollo 15 cover on the left-hand side is from the collection of Jim Irwin. So it is also an Apollo 15 insurance cover.
So what are we talking money-wise?
Well, you know, for the Apollo 11 cover, we're probably looking at like 6,000 to 8,000. For the Apollo 13 cover, probably 8,000 to 10,000. For the Apollo 15 insurance cover, probably, you know, 700 to 1,000. And then of course we have one of the nicest Neil Armstrongs I've ever seen. This Neil Armstrong is beautifully, boldly signed. It is as crisp and clean as the day it was signed. It is in pristine condition. There's no dings, no dents, no mars, no foxing, no anything. It is as nice as I have ever seen, and I've been doing this for 40 years. This is expected to bring 6,000 to 8,000.
For the man, Neil Armstrong.
The man.
On there. And we didn't get the 17 in there. We've got our, no, that's 12.
That's
Al
12.
Bean and Pete
Absolutely.
Conrad, which he always signed at Charles. I find that interesting. I've never seen a Pete Conrad.
I have never seen a Pete Conrad either.
Huh. Okay.
So Pete flew the wedding set for Charlie Mars, which we sold through our auction.
Yep.
And he had a letter that he wrote. He actually hand drew the rings so you could see the design on the rings, that they were flown to the moon on Apollo 12.
Uh-huh.
And he still, even for his dear friend Charlie Mars, he signed Charles Conrad.
Huh.
Didn't sign Pete.
It's interesting. We'll wrap up here with Chuck Jeffrey. I'm going to tell you one thing that enamors me of the things we've seen, and you tell me one. One of the coolest things I've seen was the cookie jar that whose wife made that?
Owen Garriott's
I thought
wife.
it was Owen Garrett's
Yeah.
wife. Yeah, she made these cookie jars like the moon and put little footprints on them. Those are cool, weren't they?
And they were really well done.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
They didn't go for a whole lot, maybe $800, something like that. But,
you know, and
is that odd that I would like that of all the things we've seen? Or
you know what? No, it's just unusual.
Yeah.
It's very, personal. And
how about you? What?
I'm a fanatic for Alan Bean art.
Oh
We've
yeah.
sold several pieces of Alan Bean art. I actually sold one of my Alan Bean artworks through this auction and then bought it back from the guy I sold it to because it broke my heart to have it gone.
Okay.
And so
Which image was that he painted?
that's called In the Beginning. It's
Okay.
signed by 20 astronauts.
Oh yeah, yeah.
and-
The touching.
Yeah,
the
touching,
Kind of the touch
yeah.
and the space or God or whatever up there.
yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
So that's probably, for the things that we sell so many
You've
wonderful
seen some
artifacts.
stuff. You've seen some stuff. We sold $50,000 worth of stuff found in a garbage can in St. Louis in the streets. You remember that for sure.
We
The
sold
hand controller of a Gemini module brought in $34,000.
we sold one of the main engine toolkits from the Hindenburg.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
So we had a lot of Hindenburg artifacts, but we
Yeah.
had the complete
Yeah.
toolkit for engine number 3 on the Hindenburg.
What'd that go for? You remember?
I think it went for like $8,000,
Huh.
which I thought was ridiculously low for what it was.
Huh.
But that's the thing about auctions. Great deals sometimes.
Well, we love Cliff Watson joined us in Pomona, Australia. They're starting to get their coats out and switch over to fall down under there. And he said he's got a documented parachute, Apollo 13, something I got a covers up there, Marty, what he says there. A documented piece of the Apollo 13 parachute.
And those come from Ken Havicott. So
and Man Space, Mitch Rothman. You've met Mitch at the memorabilia shows. He's back in Lake Wales. And Beam got that. Dean Babcock has a question, Marty.
How should signed photos be displayed and or stored?
okay, well, I will tell you this is my opinion. Everybody's different. Signed photos should never be displayed. You should go to a quality copy machine, make a copy of it, display the copy, and put the original in a nice dark closet or a bookshelf or dresser. And these things fade with sunlight.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm as guilty as anybody. I have an Apollo Soyuz flown beta cloth patch. And I thought because it was beta cloth, it wouldn't fade. So I put it out and it has faded. And it's back away now, but you can't copy a beta cloth.
No, you can't.
But
So,
yeah,
great
so
question.
great question.
Here's an artifact I have, soon to be sold maybe one day. The shuttle scroll I've used for 5 years. There's Mr. Hugh Harris, Bob Seek, Jay Honeycutt, astronaut Jim Adamson, Charlie Walker. I got John Harrington signed on here, the late Mr. Jim Harrington. God bless him. Mike Leimbach. What do you think, brother? The shuttle scroll used on Stay
Well,
Curious.
I think the shuttle scroll is being used too much.
It's got to be
coming
retired.
apart.
Yes, I need to pull a new one out and have this
Yeah.
someday. We'll send that to the podcast Hall of Fame. Let's say it
I
that
think
way.
that may want to go to the Stay Curious Museum.
There you go. All right, Chuck. Thank you so much. Words of wisdom to anybody else out there for the auction coming up.
Okay, so words of wisdom for anybody who's collecting: buy what you like, what intrigues you, and buy quality. Don't buy garbage. Don't buy the things that are beat up, destroyed. Buy quality. It's for you. Get yourself the best. It will always pay in the future. Quality always increases in value. You will never lose.
Excellent. And here's a quality item that Mitch Rothman's got a question about. Marty, go ahead.
How valuable is an astronaut signed Silver Snoopy letter without the Silver Snoopy? It's the Jack Swikert signed letter.
Okay, so here's the problem, because if you sell a Silver Snoopy letter, someone with no morals will go ahead and they will mate a Silver Snoopy to it that has nothing to do with the letter. As a matter of fact, Travis Thompson made his Silver Snoopy into a ring,
Yes.
and he asked me to sell his award paperwork for him, which I paid him for, and I put it away. It will never be sold because someone will mate a Silver Snoopy to his paperwork, and because he's well known, make money. It's dishonest. People do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, if you have somebody who collects autographs, sell the autograph, but you may want to put a small notation somewhere on it with no Snoopy, because someone will do that.
So you're saying it might be a couple $100 or
Yeah, well, I mean, if it's a Jack Swikert autograph,
yeah,
several hundred, yes.
Okay.
Because
it's worth
that's
the autograph of Jack, so much more than the letter itself, isn't it?
yes.
Yeah, yeah. All right, good question there, Mitch. And I got your text, and we'll talk tomorrow. And Elena agrees with you. They're in South Africa. So thank you all for watching today. I gave a shout out to all of you that have been watching. Chris Cali joined us. Hey, Chris, up there. And we'll get some Cali art one day on your auctions there. We've been trying to effort that.
We always miss each other, but we'll get together one day.
And we'll miss him again when he's here as my co-sponsor for Shuttle
You'll
Fest.
be here and I'll be way over there.
That's right. Well, thank you for coming way over here and spending some time with us, Chuck Jeffrey, my friend, mentor, and also a guy that this museum would not be here, I guarantee you, without his support. And we are very grateful for that. Julie Clay says, interesting show. And thanking you and me, Marty, for another good show. Thank you, Julie. She's one of our new volunteers. We're sure that Sharon Rodriguez is probably watching out there at the Sands History Museum, and Connie McDaniel, she's probably watching it wherever she's lighted down on her afternoon today. So we have so many people that support us, and we need that support. Like us as you're watching this, that helps our algorithm. Tell your friends all about it. Where else can you get knowledge from an expert like Chuck Jeffrey except the American Space Museum's YouTube
We never
channel?
use the word expert.
Yeah,
I'm knowledgeable, but no one's an expert. I don't think
Yeah,
so.
he doesn't like. He likes analysts better. As soon as you say expert, then somebody proves you wrong about something. In
Well,
there, so.
I learn every day. I mean, I hate to say it, I still learn every day. I run across things I've never seen. I learn
And that keeps you
details.
going, doesn't it?
Well, it's
That's what's
a knowledge base. It's always growing. If you're not learning, you're not living.
Well, I held some things in my hand I'll never hold again, like this this Mercury operations checklist used for 6 scrubs in the launch. And look at that $2 bill worth thousands that John.
It's the first one I've ever touched.
So,
I've seen them, but I've never
don't
touched
break that
one.
up. Well, thank you all for watching today. We're going to have Elizabeth on tomorrow. She's going to talk about Galactic Medallion Tours, a person that we want to wants to help us get more people in our museum. Wednesday, Bob Granath is going to talk about, he's a former PAO officer for Work With You Harris and Lisa Malone. He's going to talk about the end Women's Month of March. He's going to talk about lady reporters that I can't wait to hear about, like Mary Bubb. We sold some cool Mary Bubb stuff.
Absolutely.
didn't
Mary
we?
Bubb's a legend.
A legend out there. And Thursday, I believe I've got, the mustachioed Terry White will be here Thursday and enlighten us all with some news on there. So no, I take that back. I got Terry the following week. I've got National Space Society Bert Dick will be here Thursday. So lining up a good week, and as usual, things are on the fly. Nick Thomas wants to do it next Monday instead, so we'll deal with Nick in his topic about patches, one of your wheelhouses. This
I
man
love
also knows patches. So
Obsessed on patches.
thank you, Chuck Jeffrey.
To
You all
everybody
check us
out there,
on
please
the website.
join us, bid, and then bid again.
Bid until it hurts for Bid Again auctions. Support our museum. You're going to be amazed at the things that you can buy, and it helps our museum. So check it out. So until tomorrow, I'm going to say thank you for your patience today. We love all of you for supporting our museum. And until tomorrow, I'm Mark Marquette saying we can't wait to see you in our museum to bridge the space between us. Thank you.